Donkey Kong Barrel Blast was unveiled at E3 in 2006, only under a different name and on a different platform. It was originally called DK Bongo Blast, and along with Super Paper Mario and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, it was thought to be part of a trio of first-party releases which would retire the Nintendo GameCube in style. Of course, by that time, Zelda development had already made the jump to Wii, and given the buzz surrounding the new platform, and the relative whimper with which GameCube was leaving the stage, Super Paper Mario's would soon follow. So it wasn't a surprise when DK Bongo Blast did the same, bailing on what had become a sinking ship to set sail on a system which seemed to guarantee better sales. Now, the evident reasoning for the transfer of these games to Wii made sense, but unlike Zelda and Super Paper Mario, which were the beneficiaries of improved controls on Wii if anything, DK Bongo Blast faced a serious problem. The title had been originally developed to use the GameCube bongos, but in the move to Wii, the decision was made to scrap bongo support in favor of remote waggling. The ultimate result was a title change from Bongo Blast to Barrel Blast, not to mention a final product which feels utterly separated from its original design. If you're into the whole brevity thing, Donkey Kong Barrel Blast is essentially Mario Kart, with Donkey Kong characters. But despite a few unique ideas, it's nowhere near as good or well-rounded as Nintendo's flagship racing franchise. Moving to Wii was obviously difficult on Barrel Blast, and in no area is that clearer than its controls. You rapidly shake the Wii Remote and the nunchuck in tandem to reach the maximum speed, at which point you simply shake one or the other to steer. It's a lot of shaking, which can translate into a fun multiplayer experience, but even that is only for the sheer hilarity of watching your friends waggle their arms like idiots. And no, there's no online multiplayer. What little Donkey Kong Barrel Blast does well has to do with the concept of not avoiding obstacles, but deliberately smashing into them. The entire game is based on the concept of collecting bananas, which earns you a temporary burst of speed. These bursts fade quickly, but they can be extended by smashing into barrels, and that's the game's hook. Collect bananas, learn the location of each track's barrels, and string together long turbo boosts by smashing into them consecutively. At least conceptually, I really like the idea. It suits the characters well, and it gives Barrel Blast a unique feel among other mascot racers. But the execution is really sloppy. The mechanic's effectiveness is obviously dependent on the placement of barrels and the amount of speed bursts you can ultimately gather, but there are problems in both areas. Many of the course designs feel at odds with the concept, the barrel placement isn't always conducive to good combos, and it never feels like you're earning enough speed bursts to effectively utilize the mechanic. Because you're not boosting as much as you'd like to, another one of Barrel Blast's problems becomes clear. Without the speed bursts, the game moves at an absurdly slow pace. So slow, in fact, that it's not even worth playing on the easier difficulties, which you unfortunately have to crawl through to unlock the faster modes. As if falling short of Mario Kart Wii in terms of gameplay, controls, and online modes wasn't enough, Barrel Blast also falls short in terms of features. There are only 4 modes to race through and just 16 total tracks, and worse yet, only 7 are unique. The other 9 tracks are simply remixed versions of those 7, making Barrel Blast as short as it is disappointing and uneventful. Hey, at least it's consistent, right? To their credit, the developers at Payon did their best to dress up Barrel Blast as a Wii game, adding Mii integration and even pointer-based menu navigation. But once the races start, it's obvious this should have been a GameCube game. It didn't make the move to Wii nearly as well as Zelda or Super Paper Mario, and playing through it, you can't help but wish for that tactile feel provided by the bongos, a feedback sensation around which this game was clearly designed. And without which, Donkey Kong Barrel Blast just feels shaky.